BYD just lost 220,000 units of lead, down to 77,000 in 1 quarter.
If you follow this channel, you know I don't throw the word breakthrough around lightly.
I've watched Tesla promise the same battery miracle for about 5 years now, and half the time it turned into a footnote in an earnings call nobody actually read past the headline. But something genuinely shifted this quarter, and I want to walk you through it the same way I'd explain it to a buddy over coffee, because half of what's floating around online about this right now is either hype or straight-up nonsense. And look, I'm writing this from the same messy 2026 you're living in. Gas prices doing whatever they want, markets jumping at every headline like a cat that heard a vacuum cleaner. I get it. So let's just look at what's actually real, and I'll tell you up front where the story isn't as clean as the headline makes it sound. So what actually happened at Tesla's batteries? Tesla is now producing its 4680 battery cells using something called the dry-electrode process. And for the first time, both the anode side and the cathode side are made this way, right there in Austin. Previous versions only had one side using this process. Now it's both. Think of it like baking bread without needing a giant industrial oven running for hours straight. Old-school battery manufacturing coats materials in liquid solvent and then bakes them dry in ovens that can stretch the length of a football field. That takes enormous amounts of energy, enormous amounts of floor space, and a lot of money. Tesla's new process skips almost all of that. Less energy, less floor space, less cost. And here's the part that actually matters for the future. It scales easier. A process that's cheap but can't scale is just a lab experiment. A process that's cheap and scales is an actual business advantage. That's not my spin either. That's basically how Tesla's own team described it when they announced it. And yeah, before you roll your eyes at me for sounding like a Tesla commercial, this is the same battery tech that took Musk about 5 years and roughly 1,000 delayed promises to actually ship at real volume. Battery Day was back in 2020. We're sitting here in the summer of 2026.
So forgive me if I don't hand out a gold star just for showing up late to a party they said they'd host years ago.
But credit where it's due. Tesla's own VP overseeing the 4680 program said getting dry electrode technology to work at scale was incredibly difficult, and that this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, but for once, the receipts actually back it up, which is more than I can say for most of what comes out of that company's press releases.
All right, before we get into the BYD side of this, we actually just crossed 30,000 subscribers on this channel. And honestly, that number is starting to feel like our own little battery milestone. Small, steady gains that add up into something real if you stick with it long enough. Same principle Tesla's betting on here, so let's keep going. Then, why is BYD still winning? Now let's not pretend this is some total humiliation for BYD, because it isn't. And if I told you it was, you'd catch me lying by the next paragraph. And honestly, you should.
This channel doesn't do cheerleading.
BYD still delivered 557,090 fully electric vehicles in the second quarter of 2026. Tesla delivered 480,126. BYD is still bigger. But here's the number that actually tells the real story underneath that one. A year ago, the gap between these two companies was over 220,000 vehicles, and BYD was the one holding that lead. This quarter, that gap shrank down to about 77,000 vehicles. BYD's own numbers actually fell 8.2% year over year. Meanwhile, Tesla's jumped 25% in the same window. So no, Tesla isn't winning this race yet. But one of these two companies is sprinting right now, and the other one is jogging backward a little bit, while telling everyone it's just catching its breath. That's the actual headline hiding underneath the headline everyone's arguing about online. Is BYD actually behind now? So if BYD's still outselling Tesla on raw numbers, where does caught off guard actually come into this conversation? This is the part I genuinely find funny in a dry, watching paint dry kind of way. While Tesla was quietly grinding through years of manufacturing pain to get dry electrode production working at real industrial scale, right now, in real factories today, BYD's own chief scientist is still talking about solid-state batteries in terms of a critical stage, with real hurdles still ahead of them. BYD's actual stated plan is to start limited solid-state battery production sometime in 2027, and they're not expecting full mass production until 2030.
Let that sit for a second, because it's a bigger gap than it sounds.
Tesla's next-generation battery tech is already rolling off the production line and going into cars that regular people are driving home from the dealership this month. BYD's next-generation battery tech is still roughly 4 years away from being a real product on real roads at real volume. It's a bit like one company already opened the new restaurant and is serving customers, while the other one is still finalizing the menu and hasn't picked out the chairs yet.
Now, I'll be honest, that's the kind of claim that splits a comment section right down the middle. So let me actually ask you directly before we go further.
Are you waiting to see if BYD closes that solid-state gap faster than planned? Or are you already out the door believing Tesla just bought itself a real head start here? Drop it below. I want to see where this audience actually lands before I show you the rest of the numbers. Does any of this actually show up in the numbers? I know, big claims are cheap, and I've made a career on this channel out of not trusting big claims until I've checked them myself. So let's check the receipts, because that's what we actually do here. Deliveries first. Tesla reported 480,126 vehicles for the second quarter of 2026, up 25% from the same quarter the year before, and up 34% from the first quarter of this year. That makes it Tesla's strongest quarter since the third quarter of 2025, and it beat even the most bullish Wall Street estimates by a wide margin. Energy storage next, and this is the part most car channels won't even bother mentioning, but it matters more than people think because it's the same battery technology showing up in a completely different product. Tesla's battery and energy storage deployments hit 13.5 gigawatt-hours this quarter, up more than 50% from the 8.8 gigawatt-hours the quarter before. Then there's Europe, which is honestly the one that surprised me most. Tesla registrations there nearly doubled in May alone, hitting 28,610 cars, which pushed the 5-month total up 57.2% year-over-year to 118,068 vehicles. Remember, Europe was supposed to be the market where Tesla was quietly bleeding out. Apparently, nobody told Europe that memo was supposed to still be true. Here's a number that never makes it into car channel scripts, but honestly should, because it's the same battery tech quietly working a second job. Tesla's Powerwall units have now prevented 21.5 million power outages across roughly 1 million installed systems, up sharply from just 6.5 million outages prevented not that long ago. About 20% of those Powerwalls are now enrolled in what's called a virtual power plant, basically a bunch of home batteries teaming up to help stabilize the grid during peak demand. So while everyone's arguing about who wins the car sales race this quarter, there's a quieter story happening in garages where this same battery breakthrough is keeping lights on for actual families during actual blackouts. That's not a car statistic, that's an infrastructure statistic. And infrastructure statistics don't usually lie for a stock price. And here's my favorite part of this whole story, the part that made me laugh out loud when I read it. When Tesla announced all of this on July 2nd, the stock dropped 7.5% that same day. Investors basically shrugged at record-breaking numbers like it was a parking ticket. Then 4 trading sessions later, the stock rallied 6.69% and closed at $419.77. So Wall Street's first reaction to genuinely great news was to sell it off like Tesla had just announced a recall on every car ever built. And then a few days later, they quietly changed their mind. Honestly, at this point, I think Wall Street just enjoys the drama for its own sake.
What's the catch?
All right, I promised you I'd play it straight the whole way through, so here's the part that keeps this from turning into a highlight reel with no substance behind it. A real chunk of Tesla's delivery surge this quarter got a boost from higher gas prices tied to tension in the Middle East earlier in the year. Those gas prices have started coming back down now that there's a ceasefire in place, so some of that demand bump might not carry into the second half of this year the same way it did into this one. I'd rather tell you that now than have you feel misled by me in 6 months when the next quarter looks different. But here's the thing that actually matters for the whole argument of this video. The gas price bump explains part of the delivery jump. It does not explain the battery manufacturing breakthrough. It does not explain the energy storage number nearly doubling from the previous quarter. And it definitely does not explain Europe's growth, which has been building steadily for months now, not just a few weeks of lucky timing. Look, I've been covering this channel long enough to smell hype from a mile away, and honestly, I've called Tesla out plenty of times before for overblown promises that never showed up. You all know I don't hold back just because a stock ticker is trending. This isn't that. This is a company that finally shipped something it first promised 5 years ago, at the exact moment most people had already assumed China had won the battery race for good. Whether that turns into Tesla actually reclaiming the overall sales crown from BYD, I genuinely don't know yet, and I'm not going to insult you by pretending I do. But the technology gap that everyone assumed was permanent just quietly closed a little bit, and almost nobody outside this industry even noticed it happen. Go ahead and scroll back up and drop your waiting or out if you haven't already. I'm genuinely curious where this crowd lands on this one. See you in the next one.